There's also a valve there that allows you to turn the water on and off from the home entirely. Okay, it is not. You've got different.
Whoa!
Watch, it's a little. Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, let me not step on it.
I did that a while ago over there.
Okay, so when you line the holes up perpendicular with the pipe,
Yeah.
it's off. Okay, and then with it is on. So
You'll be able to see
sometimes
this
that can be a little hard to do. Okay, you'll need either a pair of channel locks or a pipe or a crescent wrench to do that.
What's an example of when he would do that?
Like a flood?
If you had like a main line break or something like that, if it's just if it's just a fixture itself, it has its own independent cutoff, which I can show you once we get inside.
Got it.
Okay, this is your pressure control valve. This little box right here, it controls the water pressure to your home. Typically, there's not really anything that you need to do with that. I never touch it. If I have to adjust pressure, I will call a plumber, because the mechanism inside is very finely calibrated. It can be very easy to break actually inside there. Okay. The next thing while we're out here, we're talking about is flat work. Flat work being driveway, sidewalk, the concrete that is poured independently from the foundation, right? So in Texas, we like to say we have two types of concrete. Okay, we have concrete that is cracked, and we have concrete that is going
to be cracked.
Yes, unfortunately, that's what it is. Now, we do try to control that, okay, by control joints here. These are troweled in when the finishers, when the concrete is wet, okay, in an attempt to control that. Most likely, you'll crack in here, but that doesn't mean you may not crack in other places,
Right.
okay? We also install expansion joints where you see this wood, this redwood here, at your sidewalk, and then the synthetic material up by the garage. What that does, 90-95% of your construction materials in your home will expand and contract with weather conditions, hot, dry, things like this. That gives it a place to push against itself, expand without buckling.
Without buckling.
Now, hairlines, they're a cosmetic deal only, okay? It doesn't mean that you have a structural issue with the concrete itself. It's when the concrete begins to open up, you know, you can drop keys, drop quarters, nickels down it, whatever, you might want to reach out and contact us about that. Also,
You're talking about like a quarter of an inch, basically, versus
yeah,
like
that's
a
a pretty good. That's
Okay.
a pretty good width in there. Now, also, if you get any sort of heaving, you get differences in elevation of the concrete. Okay, that could be a cause of concern as well. Okay. While we're out here, we have this is your this tap. I'm sorry, the sewer tap for your city clean out here. All right. So this is where a plumber would camera and or clear a stoppage if need be close to the city sewer tie-in. So underground, it goes down and goes over here to the main city sewer. All right. You also have a a clean out up there in your landscaping. Okay. The larger one, that would be where they would go if they were to be trying to clear something further up. Okay. Further up the line.
And that's the white thing sticking out, right?
Yes, sir. The larger one closer to your home.
Thank you.
The smaller one's kind of like a check valve, if you will, for that.
Okay.
The next thing out here, we'll talk about sod landscaping. Okay, so the sod is in good condition. The trees are in good condition. We got a nice, good rain yesterday. You know, I really like it when it makes it very, very soft and hard to walk on.
Yeah.
But the rain is great for
the
freshly laid
first sod,
So
yeah.
that you know, that rainwater does so much better than the actual sprinkler system itself, or sprinklers, if you will. Now, you're going to want to water this very heavily for about a good 2 weeks, especially now, since yes, we've had an abnormal amount of rain, but it's still very, very hot. It can burn this grass up. This is Bermuda. It is resilient. It is strong. It is a reason, you know, the reasons why we install, and most homeowners do install this type of sod, is because it's not so sensitive, like say St. Augustine or something like that, right? and it adapts better. It's just a tougher grass. But when it first gets laid, you want to really, really water it a lot.
Okay.
I can't put enough emphasis on that.
On water a lot.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, is this home going to have its own sprinkler system in here?
No, sir. It is not
Okay.
irrigated.
So yeah.
So you
Just
get sprinklers
water,
and soaker hoses.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next point on the topic of soaker hoses. So your foundation is
you can hear this too
it
right here,
is
what he's saying.
your foundation was poured with post-tension cables installed, meaning these blue, if you look at some of these slabs that haven't been poured, the blue cables that are running crossways in them,
Yes.
those are post-tension cables. 5 to 7 days, give or take, after your slab is poured, a team will come out with a hydraulic or did come out with a hydraulic device attached to the end of these cables, stretching them, giving them its strength. Okay, the slab is designed to be able to move and have deflection in it. But if that happens, it doesn't mean that you won't see the effects of that cosmetically within
Settling,
your homes.
yeah.
Exactly. So how do you kind of help prevent that? Well, you will use, I suggest some slab maintenance, very important. I suggest the use of soaker hoses, about 18 inches or so away from your foundation, and like a serpentine pattern, okay? What that is going to do is provide adequate, equal moisture around your foundation. It's kind of like the soil here, especially ESA 35. It's like a sponge. It expands and contracts as well. The wetter it gets, the more it expands, right? So it's kind of like you want
If you
the...
don't mind me asking, I'm so sorry.
Yes,
How
sir.
would you describe a serpentine motion when I have a
Okay,
sprinkler hose?
it's like kind of like a
Basically like a
a snake.
snake, yeah.
Yeah, so when I get because I was thinking when you get the sprinkler, for example, you
Uh-huh.
get the soaker hose.
Yes.
You get on this side for a little bit that way, and you bring it on this side.
So your soaker hose, correct me if you're wrong, because we had a foundation issue and that's what the guy told us. You're gonna pull that soaker hose, because the soaker hose has like little holes in it all the way around. So you're gonna pull that
Make it
around.
like a snake, and then because the holes are in there.
Right, so that you can keep the moisture around your foundation evenly moist. That's
makes
what your
sense.
deal is.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank
Is that right? Was I
Yes.
wrong?
No, you're
Okay.
good. Hey, at any point in time, if there's anything that you don't understand, of course, please, I'm trying to roll through. I'm not trying to rush,
Yeah.
but I am
Right.
kind of,
Yeah,
it's,
but-
but of course, yes, if there's something that you don't understand, please. And of course, I'm still always here, even after you close. I'm here
Yeah.
for y'all.
See
You got
these houses? He's responsible, so you'll
Yeah.
see him.
I like to tell people I couldn't get away if I wanted to.
Yeah,
you
he'll
know?
be here for a while.
Yeah. So, okay. So what that's going to do is give you adequate, equal moisture. Okay. So what can happen is if somebody, let's say, for example, you were to build like a flower bed off here and use, brick, stone, whatever, and you keep dumping water into the plants here, and it's like a sponge underneath there, and then you don't do anything in the back, and it
Right.
dries up and it's cracking, and yeah, you can see edge uplift and things like that.
Because this side would be moist.
right,
That
and
side
it'll
would be
expanding, and that one will not.
Right.
But it'll actually be condensing, and you can have things like cracks and stuff like that information to come up.
Thank you. And also, thank you for telling me about the vegetation and community grass. Is there anything special that I need to do with these tropical plants?
Not really. This water, some people on an annual basis, it kind of depends on how big of a grass guy. Some people are really into their yards. Some people like to top dress once a year, meaning low spots, divots, things like that. Put soil, let it the grass grow up through it, kind of keep it equal level. These over time. These lines that you see here, that's normal. It will go away, but it's just going to take time. This was it was just laid yesterday. So it's
Oh
really
wow.
fresh.
So it's really fresh.
And if you don't mind, what are these plants in that tree called? If you know what I'm
You know what? I don't know the
it's okay.
answer off the top of my head.
Oh, but thank you. Thank you.
There's an Apple app that you can put in front of the plant and it'll tell you what it is.
Nice.
You'll notice you have weep holes in your brick, okay, above but we don't have any lintels here. But at the bottom of your brick, you've got holes, gaps in your brick and your mortar. Okay, that's by design. Those are called weep holes. This doesn't actually waterproof your home, okay? Water can get through this, all right? It is like if you look at these homes over here, you see the red cardboard that's called thermoply. That is actually what's going to weatherproof the home itself. So water can move through this. What this is designed to do is allow it a place to escape. So it's completely normal. You don't want to plug them up. Some people think like, oh, I'm going to stick some mesh in there for bugs, whatever. You don't want to do that. All you got to do is just, if you ever notice fire ant bed or something like that, wasp or something trying to make a nest in there, go ahead and clear that out. Okay. Let's see. What else? If we want to walk down here, I know it's real soft, but there are a couple of things I'd like to cover on the side of the home. We can just kind of stand here, and I can kind of just guide you all through what I'm talking about without us actually getting submerged in the mud. All right, so on the side here, you've got your electric meter, right? And then you've got a panel. That's a 220 panel. So anything that's powered off of 220 in your home is going to be powered from there, okay? So all your big appliances like your water heater, your AC, your range, that's going to be powered in there, okay? Also, your interior panel, your 110 panel, it is powered off of there too. So let's just say in the abnormal occurrence that you have a total loss of power in your home. Take a step outside, look to your left and right. Is the rest of the block dark? No? Well, I digress. If it is,
the ones that are working, the houses
if your whole block is shut off, then that's a larger problem that's a provider issue. If it's only your home, come take a look out here, see if that panel has that breaker is actually tripped that supplies the power to that box in that garage. Okay, that's all your 110 stuff. Okay, out here, you'll notice a little kind of an oval, round, tan looking thing sticking off the siding there. You see what I'm talking about?
I'll move out of your way. You're fine.
Okay, first window, bottom left corner.
Oh, yeah.
Right off of that, you got that little deal right there.
Like a little outlet, huh?
Yes, that is your Home Team Pest Defense port. You have the another one exactly the same on the opposite side of the home. Okay, so what that does is it allows the pest control company Home Team to come hook up to that and put their pesticide within the walls of your home. I don't know whether or not if you did a pre-drywall or not, but regardless, there's a series of perforated tubing that runs through the exterior walls of the home that allows that pesticide to come out in the walls. I think it's very effective. Now, it has their contact information on that there. You're not obligated to use them. We don't benefit off of it. It matters not to me who you use, but I'll tell you this. If you do hire somebody else and they tell you, oh, I can't, I know how to hook up into that thing, don't worry about it, don't do it, okay? Home Team warrants their product, but if they find out that somebody has sprayed something up in there, it becomes null and void, and understandably, because they don't know what they're putting up in there, right?
For sure.
I think I think it's pretty effective. I wish I had it in my home.
And there'll be documents that I'll be given about Home Team?
Yeah.
Because
I don't know about that. If there's any documentation.
And I was gonna say it's on here. You here?
Thank you.
Yeah. So I can get you information on that because I've had people use that before.
Okay. They've also got their phone number and that little.
It's on there.
I don't know what you call it, but like you hold your phone over it and
the little scan code, the QR code.
It has one of those. Yes.
Yeah.
On the left side of the home, we have one hose bib, faucet, if you will, there. Okay, it has very minimal pipe that is exposed. Okay, but the pipe that is exposed has that piece of pipe insulation on it. I'm going to tell you, it is. I really. It's better. Well, the summer months it's not required. It's not needed, but winter months, I really suggest. Even though you have that, it's only going to last probably a couple of summers. The sun's going to beat that up, eat it up. Buy those little cone-looking deals at Home Depot, Lowe's, and put it on there. You've got another one caddy corner on the opposite side of the home, just to help. It's like a $3 investment to help protect your home there. AC condenser here on your left. There is a cutoff up above it. It's a small gray box. Nothing you will ever need to do with that. It's just a safety mechanism for if somebody ever comes to service that, they can pull that out and it kills the circuit to that, so that somebody's not inside going, hey, my AC didn't work, flips the breaker, and you know, then you've got a terrible accident on your hands.
Yeah.
We'll move into the garage. Talk about the breakers in here. Okay, so everything is labeled, right? Now, if you have something happen, breaker trip, right? Make sure you're going to want to go all the way to the left to make sure that it's off before turning it back on, okay? On here, we've got your information with your energy final that was conducted. And also, if you need to make a warranty claim, your resource for knowing what to do is located here, okay? And it's just a magnet, so if you want to
Move it to your refrigerator.
if you want to move it somewhere else, yeah, you put it in your fridge, whatever, you know? But it'll be there for you. Water heater, okay? We suggest once a year draining that water heater, because there are sediments that build up and they will build up and sit in the bottom of that, and it can affect your water quality there and also the life of your water heater. Now, it also has a disconnect, right, for safety purposes there. All it is. Okay, so if I pull that out, boom, it cuts it off, okay? So once a year, you want to drain this. There is a water, the supply line is here. There's a valve on here that you can turn off, okay? So you want to turn that off because you're going to drain it. If not, it's going to keep filling on the water. You have two heating elements here that will try to keep heating. If the power's on, and they'll burn themselves up. So you want to cut the power first, okay? So cut the power, cut the water. This is a valve that can be operated with a flathead screwdriver. Screw a hose on here, open it up, drain it out. Right? Now, some people will think, okay, I got 40, 50 gallons of water, I'm going to put on my tree or something because I don't want to waste all the water. Don't do that. Don't do it. Not good. Because of the sediments, the calcium, things like that are built up, it could potentially harm vegetation, plants, things like this. I'm not saying that it's going to kill your tree, but it might.
Yeah.
So just down the street is a good deal. Now, on that note, I'm actually finishing up a house for a plumber right down the street here, several homes down, and he told me and I've not come across this, but he told me nowadays they're saying to kind of let that water run through that thing, which makes sense while you're flushing it because it just kind of helps flush that stuff out of the bottom. I understand that. That makes sense. So when you want to fill it back up, it's just the opposite, right? We're going to close the valve, unscrew the hose, open the water slowly. Anytime you want to open it, anytime you're opening a valve that's under pressure, because you got water pressure behind that valve, you want to open it slow because it's going to want to, if not, it's going to want to burst out, right? Once the water heater's filled up, I'm going to go ahead and turn the power back on. Now, if you ever have any questions about anything like that, you know, you always give me a call, whatever. I don't get rid of people's phone numbers, I don't do anything like that. I mean, you know, it's however long, it doesn't matter. I know that not everybody always remembers that.
And your paperwork's right there.
Thank you. I need to plug this. I've got a ladder in the back of my truck. I need to get this plugged in. But basically, in a nutshell about this garage door, we go up and down. It is pressure sensitive, so if you have a vehicle, a child, whatever, that's stuck underneath the door, when it comes down, it feels that pressure. It's going to press a little bit, but then it's going to come back up. Let's say you have a failure of your opener, right? You still want to be able to move that garage door. So this is actually released as it is right now. It's released. You can close this thing and pull it down. You also have a mechanism over here that you can lock it with. You're going to want to take this screw out. It's just slightly tighter than hand tight. Get you a crescent wrench or something. Take this off. And this will go through this hole, locking the door. Now, let's say you do that, okay? When you Go to open it back up. You want to make sure it's not locked and that thing is all the way over. Otherwise, you will, guaranteed, you're going to catch right here. And it's going to throw that door off. I've seen it happen a bunch. Next thing about the garage door opener, you have these sensors down here that talk to each other. Okay, they've got to be looking straight at each other and not have anything blocking it in order to work. When you first move in, that's one of the most common things that I see when garage door openers don't work. People knock it with a box or something like that, right? Because you're moving in, boxes, stuff, furniture everywhere, and it can happen.
Just don't put anything in front of it, and your paperwork's up there.
Thank you. Why do you get two garage door openers? One for me, one for my wife?
Okay.
There's the remotes.
Yep. So we're just gonna So we're just gonna leave that right there.
Thank you.
Stay right there. Okay. One switch by your by the door here as you come out. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and go in. Feel free if you like to keep your shoes on. I always take my boots off because they tend to usually stay muddy.
Yeah, if you don't mind, what's that smoke?
This is your garage door opener control right here.
Oh, that's the cool. I thought this. Okay.
Yep, and this is your switch for your garage light. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Of course, ma'am.
Let me get out of your way.
So, coming in here, the door is equipped with self-closing hinges. Okay.
Nice. Let me try one more time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like energy efficient home then.
Energy efficient and fire code deal as well.
Nice. Oh, one last thing though about the garage. I know that there's a hole right over there.
Yes.
I always see like your parents and yada yada. They have like my Christmas decorations just up there. What is that for, if you don't mind me asking?
So that is all that is doing is allowing an access into that area, because otherwise, if we didn't put that in there, there would be no way to get up in there if and when anybody needed to service anything, right? Also, it allows the insulation company, the insulators, access in order to put blown insulation over the ceiling of the home.
That makes sense.
Okay. In here, you got your pantry. Step in, so to speak. I don't know if it's necessarily walk in, but you got some good space in there.
Can you get the pantry shut?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna look as well. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that is washer dryer.
Right. So your dryer vent here on the right. With this design, you're not going to have to worry nearly as much about your dryer vent getting clogged up, because it's boom, straight shot out the side. If I was an architect, that's how I would design every single home. But that's never going to happen anyway. So 220 plug for that. This is a clean out, okay, for your washing machine drain. So you have a P-trap down here behind the wall. Anytime you have a P-trap, you're going to have a clean out. So all that is very, very rare that you're going to have a clog in the washing machine drain.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have seen it, but it's a rarity. And typically it'd be like malicious or something anyway.
So 220 plug for the dryer.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. And you might want to, I don't know if you're buying a new dryer.
Because I do have an old one. So
Okay, so what you might want to do, just what I've seen happen before, you may want to take a picture of that just to verify that your plug is going to work. If not, you may have to switch out the wire. It's not a real big deal if you do have to swap it out. It's pretty simple, but I mean, I've had to do it, with my stuff in the past. I've seen it happen. If it's an older dryer, sometimes the plug is not compatible with what's here. Hot and cold supply for your washing machine, and a 110 power supply for it. Here's your drain. Okay, now when you put your drain in, I very highly suggest you take a zip tie and you zip tie between the drain to your water supply line. What that's going to do is prevent it from getting pressure and popping back out. If it's stuck down in there pretty far, usually it's not really something that happens that you need to work, but it can and does happen, and so it can prevent a big accident. Right. We do have one exhaust fan up here for when the dryer starts to get a little warm, a little uncomfortable in here. We can turn that on, help reduce that. Okay. Coming into your kitchen. Okay. So The appliances. That a little better. The appliances, they are not. You need to register appliances. That's where I'm going with that. We're still missing those. They were not able to be installed because they arrived damaged.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But all his appliances, if he registers them, then he gets the manufacturer's warranty on those appliances as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. That way, Victoria can hear that too.
So I'm going to text her with this appliance.
These are pretty deep. I like this. Mm-hmm. Is it okay if you?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is this, like what? 1 foot?
Probably.
You know, I don't remember off the top of my head. That's about 10. I think it's about 10.
So right at a foot.
Yeah. Okay. Great countertops. I don't know why for a little bit. I like the functionality.
Right, granite, okay, you can buy a granite sealer. Granite's not sealed, okay? So if I dump water all over this, you're gonna see it. It's going to get darker. It's not going to stay dark, but it will because that moisture is soaking in there, and it's a stone, right? It's granite. Also, it's a natural product, so keep in mind, not everything is is uniform. This one is pretty uniform. But granite countertops are like a fingerprint. This one doesn't have a whole lot in it, but sometimes, well, like this, for example. See how there's not nearly as much dark right here? Yeah. It's just a natural, it's just the way it is, you know?
Stone, yeah.
Right, most rational people can comprehend that.
I've been into the warehouses too. It's very interesting to see those big pieces. It is.
Disposal down here, we've got this that will pull out, retract, okay, and move that around. Appliances, generally I usually turn the range on and things like this, although we're not able to do that at this point in time.
Would you happen to know a time frame of when we're going to get because what we're just waiting for is the microwave stove type of setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't know how of a time frame, but do you?
Would they be here before closing?
estimated?
Friday.
We need it to be. I'm waiting on an answer from
Okay.
currently.
Question. We don't have any blue tape with this, so I was just wondering, do you want us to point out, like, this needs to be painted under here? I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Yeah, well, so we had to do a little emergency repair.
Oh,
That's still
okay.
wet. Yeah.
Okay.
We came through here with painters yesterday, although it just is what it is.
Okay,
you
but
know?
you'll know to come back in.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
perfect.
Well, we should be able to get that today. We've got
Okay.
painters here. We just need it to dry up a little bit.
Okay.
Windows. So windows. I don't know if you know this or not, but they've got tilt latches on them.
Oh wow.
Okay, so these two latches here operate where you can drop this window down
For cleaning.
and you can come pretty low with it. All right, and you can clean this without having to remove
You mind if I just try while you're
Yeah.
for the safety of somebody?
Yeah.
So on every other day, it's gonna be like this. Yada yada. Oh, Saturday is cleaning day. And then just
Talk it out.
push it over like
So
this.
these tabs,
These
right
tabs.
Here, push these tabs in.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
And there you go.
And the blinds have no strings on them. They just operate by pulling and pushing. So when you want to pull them down, you just grab the blind
And just pull
and
it
you
down.
just pull it and then push it up.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a safety feature that they
Which
now-
I love.
now, so industry-wide, there you don't see any more strings.
Well, you know, the strings are always complicated, and I have a
Anyway.
dog who likes to get rambunctious, so yeah.
Yep. Get into it.
These look energy efficient. These look like energy efficient windows. Am I correct in that?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yep. So we'll move down this way to the front of the home and then work our way back.
I'm gonna come on that side.
Can I have one more question
Yes,
about
sir.
this AC terminal? This is pretty, of course, new within the home. So I like it. Anything special I should know about this?
You can program it the way that whatever way. I think there's quite a, it's programmable, you know, if you want to set different times, like, you know, when you go to work, whatever, what have you. Push button, pretty simple to operate. Biggest thing, I'm no expert on them, but so like your simplest things, you're going to want to be able to control, you're going to want to know how to control your temperature, right? Just plus and minus here, up and down. And then, so for your, and then you can hold it if you choose to. Then mode, you know, off, heat, cool.
Especially for the summer. This is wonderful.
Yeah, and I think Honeywell actually on their website has like little videos of their stuff.
Nice.
So you can just go like look at the videos and stuff.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is your, here's your air handler. Okay. It's got a safety cutoff as well here. Not a whole lot you're going to need to do in here. If you take a look at this piece of pipe right here, that's your main line for your drain. Okay. We recommend like once a quarter to pour some hot soapy water down that. Okay. They used to say bleach, vinegar, things like that. Now industry standard is, oh, that can be corrosive over time. The way I look at it is like, it's your home. You pour whatever you want to down that thing. Yeah. But we suggest hot soapy water. Yeah. So what you can do is take like a glass pitcher or something, put it in a microwave, and get it real hot. Put a little dish soap in there. You don't need a lot, and then just pour it down there. And what that does is help prevent your green mold, algae type stuff from building up, because there is a constant drip in there. You know, the AC naturally condensates, so you're going to have that water just a trickle. It's dark, it's wet, that's where that stuff manifests.
I'm just making sure. So basically what you're saying, every 3 months, yada yada, just get a funnel, hot water, a little bit of soap, like maybe a cup, something like that. And just pour it in here.
Yes.
And then I don't have to get anything.
And then you have a filter down here, okay, that you're going to want to change.
Yeah, I'll put
as well. Okay. Now this is what you call a media filter. So it is not, it's larger, it's more expensive, but it is you change it less often. Okay, and it just pops out like that. Every 4 to 6 months, you know. I think you're going to be like, what I would do honestly is just I just set a time, whatever you're comfortable with. Let's just say 4 months. Every 4 months, I'm going to change the filter. I'm going to do my hot soapy water.
Right,
and you just do it at once. And then the only other thing we recommend with that, once a year, you have this service by a licensed HVAC professional. And that's just to make sure everything's running. Preventive maintenance is the best maintenance.
Kind of like oil change in a car.
Right. You got to pay for it, but you want to pay for it because you don't want to pay for it when that rod starts knocking, right?
Absolutely.
I highly suggest that you use Airtron, the company that installed it and did the HVAC in your home, because you get the 2-year mechanical warranty, right? Let's say they find something that we just didn't know about. Let's say that nobody ever caught. I mean, unlikely, but impossible, no, right? Or let's say something malfunctions, whatever, they see that there's a problem. Bottom line, they installed the system, so if it's on them, they can fix it. Now you can call somebody else, and if they identify a problem, sure, they'll fix it, but they're going to charge you for it, right? Yeah. I suggest you use the company that installed it themselves.
Especially in the first 2 years if something happens.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a 2-year warranty.
Once the warranty's up, I mean, it's kind of, you know, who you feel happy with, you know, who you enjoy. But yeah, I would definitely use the same company. Now, paint and drywall, okay? Drywall cracking is a natural part of the drying process. This home, if you think about it, it's we've been fighting to get to this point, but in the big scheme of things, this home has not been here for very long. Okay,
few weeks.
The ground's still moving, things are still drying, so you may see some drywall cracking. It's normal. It doesn't mean that you have a failed foundation, anything like that. It's something that does occur normally. It's the same thing with caulking. You can see, you know, you may see separation over time in some of the caulking. Also, this paint, it is a flat paint, okay?
Flat paint.
Means you can't take a rag, you can't, you know, wet up your handkerchief and wipe it off. You're gonna be wiping off paint, things like this, drywall, mud. So, what's the solution? Well, I mean, like it or not, the solution is painting over it. Or repaint your walls in a gloss or a satin finish, something like that. If your desire is to be able to wipe the wall. I tell people we do not paint the garages here. I used to tell people, hey, peel off a little bit of that water heater platform or something like that. Should you be able to go into any Sherwin-Williams and purchase a gallon of agreeable gray and it come in here and take a brush and it match perfectly? I mean, I guess so, but it doesn't work like that. Okay, these guys paint out of 5-gallon buckets and they spray, so the application is different, right? As opposed to taking a 1-gallon can and it's a very concentrated paint that they take a brush and apply it differently, much thicker. Yes, it will look a little different. So what I suggest to people is, if you're gonna get some extra paint, come into somewhere very inconspicuous, like, you know, like this or something, you know, back here or back here where nobody's gonna sit, maybe peel off a little bit, take it to them so they can match it perfectly.
Is it agreeable gray though?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
This is agreeable gray.
Which is a really popular color.
Nowadays, it's either like
Agreeable
agreeable gray or accessible beige. That's what, you know, that's what it is. Carpet. Vacuuming carpet opposite directions when you do it every time can help prolong the life of your carpet. Okay. Periodic adjustments of doors might be necessary, was over time, house settling, weather conditions. That's also a normal thing to experience.
Yeah.
Vinyl flooring. Okay. This is luxury plank vinyl, they call it. So it's a little different. Well, I like it a lot better than
I
the sheet
do
vinyl.
too.
The sheet vinyl, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, it's still vinyl. Okay. So the use of felt pads, highly recommended, because underneath furniture and things like the feet of couches and things like this, because over time, actually, not a lot of time, you could see indentions, right, where furniture sits and things like that. I suggest getting the biggest felt pad that you can for that foot of whatever it is, and putting it on there to help protect your floor. Excuse me.
Which is basically like wood or anything, really. You gotta protect it.
Right, yeah. It's, you know, it would
But I
be the
love
same
that.
if you had a hardwood floor. I would suggest the same thing, of
100%.
course. But,
This
you know,
easier to take care of though than a hardwood floor.
yes, yes, this is true.
And it's a little bit like, from an economical standpoint, I'm not a billionaire, it's a little bit more affordable as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
I've done wood floors. They're not free. By any means.
And you gotta work hard after you get them.
Right?
Doorbell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we have doorbell out here. We have that needs to get painted. That's your fresh air intake. Okay, so you have these homes are built very tightly, very economically, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. And that's great, but if you circulate the same air over and over, that can get a little nasty.
Yeah.
So what that does is it literally draws in fresh air from the outside into the system, and it is filtered before going out into the rest of your home. But that's what it hopes to do right there.
Nice.
Okay, so
This is
that's
the light where, God forbid, I want to know who's going on, you know, yada yada outside. I can just, who is this? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thanks.
You guys are gonna come get that water bottle off of there too?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. My wife mentioned something.
She was wondering if the right side of the plantation shutter is level. It appeared a little
It's not a.
non-level, and I told her that you guys would be able to just put a level on it and see if it is or not, because sometimes it's a little. I did take a picture of it and send it to my admin assistant, and say, is anything wrong with this picture? And she said, no, I don't see anything. So
Okay.
just an FYI.
We can take a look at it.
But if you don't mind looking at it for her, because it just kind of appeared like it was a little sideways. Pictures help. I couldn't. She has a very detailed eye. Victoria does.
Yeah.
Oh, he's painting the garage door. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
What color will the garage door be? Is it like that same agreeable gray
The color. I'm sorry.
of the garage door?
Garage door. You know, on your home. I don't know off the top of my
I
head.
believe I saw it being black.
Oh,
The door is black too, right?
yeah.
So it's like the door matches. When my wife came down here and saw this. The
Oh,
door
she saw a
match-
picture?
Yeah, we came down here, so the door matched the garage, so both of those are black.
Okay.
And they look great, of course.
All right. We still need to.
This is the master.
Yes, sir. Put it here. Right,
Nice.
so this is going to be sheetrock here, okay? This was a little hiccup here, but this is going to be sheetrock, okay? And here,
Okay.
I like it.
You mind if I see that last
Yeah,
time?
absolutely.
It's a good ratio over here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, you got one exhaust fan in here over the toilet.
Really steamy.
Yeah, so fans, I suggest you use them every time you take a shower.
Absolutely.
So, exhaust fans, they're not actually, well, they help, but they're not actually designed for unpleasant odors.
They're designed for moisture.
Right, they're designed to pull moisture out because
Right.
in home building, water intrusion is your number one enemy. One of them, the most obvious is, okay, it's raining, right? You don't want a roof leak or something like that. Another one, though, is from within. Steam, things like that can, over time, kind of adversely affect your home and that room. A bathroom is going to be a place where that happens mainly because you're taking showers, whatever, steamy, and that is what that is actually.
So really
designed for.
every time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should.
It's yes, definitely highly suggested.
Even in your laundry room too, he pointed that one
Yeah.
out too, just
Right.
to make sure.
So I will point out this right here.
Oh.
So this toilet, and this applies for all your faucets as well. If you want to come take a look here, I'll demonstrate this. This is so you flush the toilet, and we've got water coming back in. Okay. Pull it out, cuts it off. Okay.
Can you do that one more time? I just didn't see it all the way.
Yes, sir. So we put it in,
And the water comes
opens
in.
it up, pull it out, cuts it off.
Okay.
And it's going to be the same for your sinks as well. You're going to have two under there because you've got a hot and a cold supply. A toilet just obviously has only cold supply, so you're just going to see the one.
So the old 1970s knob is kind of obsolete now.
Correct, because and I've had them break off literally in my hand. And that's kind of the reason why they get away from that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for letting me know.
Uh-huh.
And of course, cable, yada yada, internet.
Yes, sir.
Is there one in the main?
Right, so you've got that there. We keep and most all home builders are doing this nowadays. They don't put a lot of drops, hardwire drops in a home. One, if a person wants those actual hard lines, they usually have very specific spots that they want them, and just the fact that so much is just using wireless these
Right,
days.
fiber
Your average person has like one hard wire to their modem, and then everything else is wireless.
Right.
Some people have more, but that's situational, situationally dictated.
Nice. And
Right. So you have one here as
I
well.
know Ray was really great at communicating to me. We are trying to buy a couch. It's going to be called a sectional.
Yes. Yes.
This looks efficient in terms of spacing. Not if it's okay. Can you just film this?
Yeah.
I just want to know a little bit of dimensions. This can impact whether we buy something or not. So thank you. I apologize. No, thank you.
Of course. You could definitely get a sectional in here. It would
Oh,
be
yeah.
a smaller, I wouldn't do the big humongous.
I've had a pretty big sectional before, and I'm thinking about like the biggest one I've had. And I don't think you I mean from over there,
Yeah.
and coming down here, you
Absolutely.
put a pretty good size one in
Right.
there.
There was an 11 by 4, and I just wanted to, if you
Oh yeah, 11 by 4.
You're
That
close
was
to 6,
yeah.
right? You're 6 feet. You can lay down twice here.
Oh, easily.
And this is a king size bed.
Okay, so yeah.
That's pretty much every time. This is a king size bed. So I'm saying that to say the width of a king size bed is just kind of like your sectional.
Yes, ma'am.
So
And I just reiterate, watering that grass out here. This grass is it's gonna get hammered by that sun.
Is it also Bermuda?
Yes.
Thank you.
And while we're looking at this, so your fence, all right, your fence is installed, it's complete, but it is not stained, it is not treated. I very highly suggest that you do that. It's going to help prolong the life of your fence. In the Texas sun, it's going to take a couple of seasons being untreated, and that thing is just going to get as crooked as can be. You know, the pickets are going to warp. It's just there's no way around it. It just doesn't. Now, is it costly? Yes, it costs money, but I always tell people about fence, you're going to either pay now or you pay later.
Thank you.
if that is straight up the truth. Love this covered patio.
Get that out of the way there.
And of course, I won't step on anything. I did step on the grass one time. Will somebody be able to fix that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize. It looks
That's
beautiful.
okay.
I'm not going to step on anything.
Yeah, it's very, very soft right now. It's
Yeah.
Very. I did
It's a
that.
pain. I try to install. I mean, as close as I can to closing, just because it's
It's hard to keep it up. I've
it's
seen
hard
it
once
before.
you put it in. Because
Yeah.
once you lay it down, it never fails. Like you're gonna get traffic across it. You're gonna you
Yeah.
know, and you try to keep it to a minimum, but it always ends up that way.
So
What-
does the HOA have rules on the color of the stain he could do this? Or
I'm
do-
sure they do.
Okay.
They always do.
Yeah, I know. I just
what
wanted
do
to
you
ask.
I-
You'll get all those documents at closing. They'll give you your HOA stuff.
Thank you.
I just wanted to. I just had a situation where we listed a house and they had to come strip it because they had painted it the wrong color. So when they sold it,
Yeah.
the HOA became aware that it was the wrong color stain. So they literally had to pay somebody to strip it back down to that. So I just didn't want him to paint it the wrong color and then have
Oh
to.
well, they've got a color.
I'm sure.
Whatever it is, I promise you, they've got a restrict. HOAs.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, so it keeps.
It's
they're-
sometimes really bitter, but
They're there so that your neighbor doesn't have 6 cars in the front yard.
Yes,
But
and a
at the
washer
same
and a
time,
dryer.
they're very, very nitpicky, and they exist to. I mean, it's somebody that drives around and shakes their finger and tells you what to do with your house. I mean, it's that's.
It's a real bittersweet, and I tell people that all the time because sometimes we go into neighborhoods and there's gorgeous houses, and they lost a little value because the aesthetics of the neighborhood is horrible.
I definitely understand. There were some
But
good
at the
things
same time,
Yeah, I understand. There were some good things about the mafia, so I get it.
Right.
If you don't mind, though, like, of course, nobody cares that much, but of course, there's a truck stop right behind us.
Mhm.
I think that's Love's, a great place.
Yes.
I stop every time I come out here.
Right? Is there going to be any type of a, like, this is probably a question for Cynthia, but of course, we want to try to keep some type of lighting around here, like, you step here. And
Like a
light
motion
goes on.
sensor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. What I would probably do is I might set some motion sensors like here in the back or something. That way for sure. I definitely probably do it like right here. So let's say somebody does to try to get squirrely and jump the fence, whatever. They come up on your back porch. So once they get to about here or something, boom, it's lit up, and it could possibly deter them. Like, oh, yeah, let me.
Here's the other thing I would do too. I would do 2 things. I would do exactly what he just said with whatever security system, even if you use a Ring to where you're in control of that, because that's sometimes people do that because it's a little less expensive. You get the doorbell, you get all the sensors. I may have some information on that because I had a house that we just sold where they had sensors all the way around. It was pretty cool. But the other thing I would do is get some red tips or something. And then, because red tips are really great to grow quickly, and they also are very good at providing privacy.
They do grow very large. I've planted them. I've planted them from very small, and about 5 years later, they're literally about 12 foot tall.
Do you know what those red tips are? I have some of them in my backyard because my house is backed up to my neighbors, and we have really small yards. So all across the fence, the red tips are up, so we can't see our neighbors, even though I know that they're on the other side. And a lot of people use red tips. I suggest that over bamboo, although people do use bamboo for the same thing. But bamboo kind of gets out of hand, and it's a little harder
to. It really does.
But it's just so you have foliage, you know.
It'll probably start as bamboo's liable to start growing in your neighbor's yard.
Absolutely.
Too, and then they're going to be all upset with you because you got bamboo growing everywhere. Me, she's a nice person. I can tell. Me, I might do something a little more sinister. I might just plant cactus all over the back. So that way, if you do decide to jump my fence and drop down into my yard, you're done as soon as you hit the ground.
Yeah.
But foliage, I'll send you a picture of one of the houses that recently had this. Because what they did is they just landscaped the fence, and then they put red tips and some other foliage, and then when it grew up, literally you couldn't see what was behind you.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what I would do.
And also, so thank you so much for all of that. I definitely will be listening to your advice. Only other thing, because this is lovely, is that mirror. I know that sometimes it has a natural shade. If we look right here, we can kind of even see our reflection a little bit more than we see what's inside. We have to kind of go.
Is it like is it tinted? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, are those windows kind of tinted?
These ones here?
Yeah.
No, not really. I think there's some UV protection in there. But so what I've done in the past is there's like I don't know what you call it, but it's like it's like a mirror stick thing. And I've done this. We've had a front door that had a big window in the front, and we put it on there, and so it's like you can't see in. Like when you walk, it's like walking up to a mirror. You can't, but you can be standing in there, looking straight out, and you can see everything that's going on.
See, that's what I would really look at. And then the only other thing is only for like a little bit of safety. Of course, this is a lock, deadbolt, yada yada. We can do a lot of things here, bumper plates, etc. But for that, I'm so sorry. I don't want to go in the house too bad. But for this section, the only thing stopping it is, of course, for the windows, is just that little nuts, right?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much for letting me know.
Yeah. And one of my clients is moving into this neighborhood because one of my clients is going to be your neighbor right there across the street. She did a little research just on the whole area because she's a single woman. And she found this to be really safe, even with the Loves right there.
No, I believe you.
Yeah. Because she's a single woman. So she was like, I love Loves. I'll actually stop there every day. She was just
haven't had, and you're talking about 3213, Jordan.
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of time to talk to her. I know she's active military, she's out of state. If she has any questions about that stuff, anything, she can always reach out to me. I understand the position she's in.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to hijack this to derail what we're talking about. I was active Army as well. For quite a while. I get where she's coming from.
Because she's new to Texas total. She's coming from. She's never been here.
Oh
so.
my God.
Yeah, that's your neighbor, Jordan. She's a sweet girl.
But yes, sir. Any other protective measures that you would want to take? Yes, I would encourage it. Even to the point of even if it doesn't work, even if it's fake, like a camera out here pointing outward. That way, if you got somebody or a Ring doorbell will work on the front too. Nowadays, is it a fail-safe that is going to stop somebody in their tracks? No, but it will make people think twice. And if they do something stupid, they steal a package, whatever.
You see it, and it's in history.
At least you've got it right there.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I was gonna say too, some of those systems that all work together. Of course, I know you work from home, so you can see them from your phone. So if somebody, the history's there, you can talk to them like you're at your desk. you can't get up because you're working. You can tell them through the thing, you know, whatever. And it helps catch people too in neighborhoods. My neighborhood, unfortunately, we have had some teenage like vandalism kind of stuff going on, and then everybody, like, once the community gets developed, everybody gets on the Facebook page and it's like, hey, share your ring, you know, share your ring history of 2 o'clock on whatever day, because there were some teenagers running up and down the street. Do we know who they were? And it just kind of helps, you know, all those signs you used to see that said community watch or whatever. Now it's Facebook and ring doorbells.
You know, times change and whatever, you know, whatever works.
Yeah.
I sometimes security people, you know, they're always advertising. Sometimes I get calls or face to face. People ask me, you know, what kind of security? Do you have a security system, sir? Yes, I do. Okay, well, what do you use? May I ask you what are you using now? I said Mossberg.
Well, I was going to tell you too.
I mean, 100% truth. I live. Me and my family live out in the country. We are, you know, the only house out there. If somebody wanted to get stupid, I mean, they could try it, and we would be on our own, at least for probably 10-15 minutes.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Well, I will tell you too that after you close on that note, you're going to get a plethora of calls, particularly from ADT, because they will not leave you alone as soon as this is public records. They're also going to call me and say, would you give me your client's information? I'd like to call them and help them, which you already know me. I will not pass your information on. I do have a really good, though, a seriously good, smaller, family-based security system company that does an amazing job if you decide to go that route and not with the ring or whatever.
Of course, and thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. You know, of course, I have my own deterrents and everything. I always want to just know if there is any options that you know of, especially if that's reflective, like you were mentioning before. But
reflective stuff. Now, I'll tell you like this: the reflective stuff, if I remember correctly, I don't think it really worked at night. Once it was dark outside and turned the lights on, I think you could see inside. Whereas I would suggest, hey, close your blinds, window treatments or something, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
You know, my wife would want to put window treatment. That'll be put on. Actually, I have to have that off for inspection purposes if it's in a cabinet. So that's why it looks like that.
Nice, I got you. Internet capabilities. Would it be ready on like move-in day? Because it sounds crazy, but it's only 2 days away. Like, will we, like, I'm not saying you give me internet, but like, we have the precursors for everything already, like everybody did everything underground and everything. Okay, my people said they're gonna, Spectrum is, so they're gonna come out like Saturday or Sunday, so thank you. This is good. Trying to notice with a diligent eye anything. We're gonna get one of those little stove oven combination thingies with the microwave, right?
Yes.
Stainless steel. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Stainless steel fridge. Nice. Thank you. I wish mine were as good as my wife's.
Well, that's why we did the video. Actually, I have had a few single women that have bought houses like this, and I did a video for them because they were like, I'm not going to know what to do even after they show me. So.
Well, and that's why I say, hey, you know, I remain here for my body.